First thing I'd like you to do is go to Poland Pickup. There's a folder called ID Images, and there's several images in there that we're going to use for this. And you need to copy these to your folder in schools. Because we have problems with Poland sometimes. I'm not sure if it's going to let you copy the entire folder, if you're going to have to try one at a time to copy, or if you're going to have to get the USB drive from me. So if it doesn't work, just know that I have them on a USB and you can get them from there. Okay? So into your folder in schools. You are going to use the master page. And of course, the first thing that we want to do is go to File and Save As. And we're going to change the name of this to Images, because we're going to be adding images, adding and formatting images here. And we'll go from there. We're going to start on page number 1. If you don't already have that one open, that's what you should open at this point. Now, I want you to remember that we have this right here, the frame tool. We have 3 shapes: rectangle, ellipse, and polygon. These are the 3 things that we can use in order to get a picture, or put a picture on our page. The next thing I want you to do is go to your window panel and open your layers panel, window menu for your layers panel. I'm going to go ahead and dock that over here. So far, everything we've done has been on layer 1. I want to go ahead and make a new layer, and this layer 2 is going to be for my images. So I'm going to go ahead and name it Images. That way you know where it is. If you want, you can lock layer 1 so that you don't accidentally do anything to it. What I want to do is we are going to place some images throughout here, and then we're going to wrap text around them. Now, I've just picked some random images off of the internet because our text isn't really about anything, so I just picked some things to put on the page, okay, or throughout the pages. So let's go ahead and start with our rectangle frame tool. And I would like to go ahead and create a frame. And notice that, first off, wherever my mouse is, it's showing me on the ruler to the left and at the top where my placement is. So I want you to use that guide to help with your placement. So notice that I am on the left-hand ruler. I have it starting here at the 24 pica mark, and it is also going to be at the 12 pica mark at the top. And I'm from there going to drag, by holding down the Shift key, a perfect square. So I'm going to drag it right there to where it hits the margin, or sorry, not the margin, the actually I'm going to drag it to the middle where it hits the middle of the gutter. That's what I want, right there. So that's going to be the first graphic that I put in. I am going to go ahead and place another one over here in the right column underneath. When I say underneath that original one. And I am going to, actually, you know what I can do is, if I want it the same size, I can copy and paste. That makes it easy enough. And then I can drag that down here. Now, I'm not sure that I want both of these to be left aligned. We need to have a little variety, so I'll go ahead and place that one right there. And we may have to adjust them by a little bit as we go. All right, so we're going to place 2 images. Now, you notice we placed text here. Well, Images is going to work more or less the same. Go to File and Place. We're going to navigate to our images that we downloaded to schools. And I would like you to actually select 2 at a time. Okay, so we're going to get the lamb, and then I'm going to hold the Command key and choose goat. That selects both of them. Click open. Now, you see that's the goat one that shows up first. Well, what happens if I want to actually place the lamb one first? I can use the arrows on my keyboard. Oh, I should be able to use the arrows on my keyboard to, oh, I don't know if it's just my keyboard that's not cooperating or if yours will, but you should be able to actually toggle through. I'm not sure what I just did, but now see the lamb is there? No, that's not what I meant. Maybe I have too much stuff open on my computer. You should be able to use the arrow keys on your keyboard to toggle back and forth. I'm not sure why mine's not cooperating. I apologize. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click with the lamb and place it there. And that leaves me with the goat that I will place there. Now, two things. Number one, the graphic frame is covering up the text. Okay? Also, the images, especially this one, is too big for that frame. So what we need to do is I'm going to double click on this lamb and notice that it automatically goes to my direct selection tool. Well, I can first off, I can drag and it's going to allow me to position that image inside the frame. So that's giving me a better view now of that lamb. So now all I have to do is resize it a little bit to ensure that the entire lamb shows up in that frame. I can actually see the outline of how big or small that image is, the original image. That's this blue line around it. So I can see that's how much image I am blocking out. Okay? And once I get that, I'm going to go ahead and deselect and get my selection tool again. I'm going to click on that graphic frame. And now I need my text wrap panel. So I'm going to go to my window menu. I'm going to choose text wrap. It actually is going to open a panel, and I'm just going to move it to the side here. And you'll see some options up here at the top. I want to wrap it around the bounding box. And when it does this, notice that the text is now around it. It's not behind it. The options here below will allow me to give it a little bit more space. So like right here, that word is, whatever the word is, I can't read it that small, is a little bit close to the image. So I can move things, and I don't want to move it like a whole pica away. I'd like to move it probably about 3 points away, maybe 4. And because that link is there, it is going to make all sides 4 points away. Now, you should also see that you have the ability to wrap things just to one side, to both sides, and some other stuff. We're going to leave it at both right and left sides. Okay? So that's how we're going to do that lamb. Now, let me click on this one, double click. The first thing I need to do, notice how as I start moving this image is rather large. Okay, so I'm going to need to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to have to drag from the corner and bring it up some and drag with my shift key down again so that I can get that image small enough to fit in that box. Okay, remember, the only way that you can make sure that the width and the height stay in proportion is by holding down the shift key. Now, this particular image is going to be hard, it seems, to get the entire goat. Oh, no, I did it. The entire goat does fit in the square, so that's what you're going to aim for. And then click outside of it to deselect. get your selection tool. We're going to go to our text wrap again. And we're going to choose the same one, wrap around bounding box, and we're going to make it 4-point around. Okay, so it leaves a little bit of a buffer around the edge. Now, I want to point out that when we go now to pages 2 and 3, some of the text, because remember all of these columns are linked, they are now spreading it out a little bit. Okay, I actually don't want to do that. Let me keep that locked. All right, so now I'm going to go to page 2. And I would like on this page, actually, I'm going to do, on page 2 and 3, I'm going to do a rather large circle right here in the middle. Okay, and so I'm going to click and drag. I'll have to position it better. There we go. And I'm going to position it right there in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to go up to File and Place. Now, I want you to notice that I already have that graphic frame selected. So now when I do File and Place and choose the cat, click Open, I want you to notice that the cat automatically appears there. I don't have to click on a frame. Okay, on that first page, I did not have the graphic frame selected, and so it allowed us to click to drop it in there. Now, this particular image had a no background. Okay, so I'm going to position this so that we can see pretty much all of him. He's going to be a little bit off. Okay, and I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. Okay, when I select it and go to text wrap, so when I open my text wrap panel, I have it selected, and instead of choosing just to wrap it around the bounding box like that, I am actually going to choose to do wrap around object shape. Now, I can do this because I had no background. And so that's one thing I want you to remember as you put stuff in. You can use Photoshop to delete the background, and we can then notice how down here where it says contour options, I can choose to detect edges, and it now follows the shape of the cat, which is pretty cool. And now I can give this 4 points of space so that it's not running into the cat, but that makes for a much more interesting photo, how the edges follow that. And again, all that is it has a transparent background. It can be a PNG like this one is. You can actually place a Photoshop file, an Illustrator file, any number of things.